Hello everyone, welcome to day number 4 of the Superbet Chess Classic 2022 in Romania. In this round, there were 3 decisive games, and one of the games was this win by Lagrave over Fabiano Caruana. Alright, Lagrave was white. Let's check it out. Started with e4, Caruana went to e5. At f3, knight c6, bishop e5, we have the royal opus. a6, bishop into a4, knight f6, castles. Knight takes on e4, d4, b5, bishop to b3, d5, and takes. So we have the open variation of the royal opus. Bishop into e6, protecting, of course, a d5 pawn, because we have the bishop being attacked in that one. c3, bishop into c5, knight b2, castles, bishop c2. All right. Now the first critical moment of the game started with this positional sacrifice on the weakest point in f2 with knight takes f2. All right, I'm not really a fan of this sacrifice. Well, in terms of the value of the pieces, you sacrifice your 2 minor pieces against the rook. Okay, so rook and a pawn, you know, it's basically equal in terms of value, but the knight and bishop, right? This combo is better than the rook. Rook takes f2, bishop takes f2, king takes f2, f6. Maybe in faster time control, blitz or rapid, you could try this out, but not so much maybe in classical, because your opponent has enough time to create a plan, all right, also to defend your counter plays here. Okay, black gets that central pawn on e5 though. If white takes here, then it develops a queen on f6. If you go back to g1, rook a8, rook a e8, and the black rook, this e rook can take care of the e5. So with that, Lagrave went for knight f1. It doesn't matter if he loses that pawn on e5, but at least it closes the e file. So king into g1. So basically here, well, black with 7 pawns compared to white 5. He has the exchange. So value-wise, black is a pawn up. But then again, we're talking about the knight and the bishop. All right. So with knight and bishop against the rook, I prefer this 2. It's 2 pieces, by the way. Queen d7. Okay, we have bishop g5. Main point of bishop g5 is trying to go for bishop h4 and bishop g3. It will attack the e5 pawn, and at the same time, it also, the bishop is trying to protect the king, because potentially black will play bishop g4, pin on the knight on f3. Then you're forced to open up your king. So the bishop will be a reinforcement to defend your king on g1. So rook a e8, queen into d2, clearing the line for your rook either on d1 or e1. g4, knight g3, controlling the important e4 square. Now, for example, here, if let's say black plays this move e4, then white gets that central square with knight e4. Although black could also go for knight e5 and try to go for c5. But white's 2 knights here are pretty strong. You cannot go c5, so there's take and e5. So again, the importance of these 2 minor pieces, the bishop and the knight. d4, knight into g3, h6, bishop h4. Lagrave is provoking Caruana to play g5 here. If black plays g5, then white will take it. takes g5, queen g7, and probably just go back to d2. Black is up in exchange, but king is not safe. It's a vulnerable and then open file, yeah. G and H. So d takes e3, queen takes e3. And I'm not too sure about this. Rook takes f3. It's just very optimistic. Maybe Caruana was hoping for queen takes f3 here, then he has knight e4. Because if, let's say, you go queen to e4, knight takes e2, queen takes e2, he has queen b4, and queen takes h4. And then with g takes f3, he was hoping for knight d4, but white is in control. So bishop goes to t1. Now going back to this position, black can play here b4. That begs the question of what to do with the queen. Where is the queen going? There are three squares that the queen can go. It's 5, e3, or e1. If you go c5, you don't need to capture this knight. You can play knight e4. The main point is that, okay, if takes, exchange. Now you're threatening c5, c4, e3. And if, let's say, opponent captures with knight takes e5, black has queen d5, forcing the exchange of the queen. But now you have a double attack on the knight on e5 and the bishop on c2. Rook takes f3 is a dubious sacrifice. Yeah, it's too much. Takes on f3, knight e4, bishop d1, protecting f3. Rook f8, knight e4, centralized knight. Black doesn't have enough pieces to attack the f3 pawn. The bishop into c4, probably he was hoping for knight e2, take, and pressure on f3, or just king g2. Rook into f4, nice move, bishop e1. Here, black was hoping maybe that white will go for bishop g3. Yeah. There's this nice queen h3 move. Yeah. Because if you capture the queen, bishop f1. So that was a cheapo for Caruana with that bishop on c4. It's tricky. Again, the sense of danger. Bishop e1. All right, queen h3 doesn't work anymore because of the square g3. But it could have been disastrous if white played the move bishop g3. Yeah? Okay, for example, if you go king f2 here, queen f1. King goes to e3, rook takes. Bishop takes f3, queen takes. You go king d2, queen e2, king goes to c1, and then knight takes. Threatening knight e2 is just too much. But bishop e1 was pretty good. Queen into f5 and knight d2. All right, overprotection on f3. Knight, bishop, queen. The pawn holds your position. e4. Okay, Caruana tries to complicate things. That's his only hope. Nothing else. You're down a piece. So it's all out on the king. But will it work? That's the question. Okay, queen takes d4, of course, is not possible because of the discovered attack on the queen. Vachier Lagrave had bishop g3. Takes on f3, just king f2 first. King is safe. Rook goes to g4. The process of elimination. Okay, one less attacker. Take the bishop. Pawns, bad. You have an extra minor piece. Okay. It's winning time. Bishop takes f3. Pawn. Takes f3, queen takes f3. Now you have a healthy bishop. Queen c2, of course, queen e2. You have to protect your pawn on b2. Queen f5, king g1, safe. h5, right, an attack on the queen. Moving out of that pin to stop that threat on h4. Let's take the pawn. If you check, for example, here, you just go queen f3, he's still attacking the rook if he takes the bishop. Yep. So no problem. h3, queen f3. Threatening queen takes h3. Queen goes to d3. Okay, he's trying to protect the pawn and try to create a pass pawn on d3. No problem. Just bishop e5, centralizing the bishop, rook g2, and bishop c3 holds everything. The threat now is queen takes. Okay, let's just say a random move like king. You can take that queen, and then you go rook f3, and go from behind. d2, there's rook takes h3 check. So that was it. After bishop c3, black resigns. We cannot move the queen away. The queen takes h3. And there's also a threat on f7 here if you move the rook somewhere to e2. Yeah, if you go to e2, it's made on g7. So that sacrifice, that positional sacrifice on f2 did not work this time. And that gives Lagrave an easy win. It might be a wrong choice of opening for Caruana. Although it's a famous line, positional sacrifice on f2, but I'm not too sure about classical games there. And also with the emergence of the strong silicons nowadays, it's tough to go for these sacrifices. You can play solid lines. You can go for the solid Roy Lopez without giving up that piece on e4. Okay, let's just say, okay, in this position, instead of, okay, after casting, instead of playing that knight takes f2, you can try f5. Yeah. Although white has knight to b3, bishop to b6, and knight b4. But then again, you can capture knight takes d4, knight d4. You can go for bishop to d7, f3, and then maybe just c5. At least you have equal number of pieces, yeah, compared to knight takes f2. But then again, chess is just all a matter of choice. But this time it's a win for white. The sacrifice did not work. Or maybe it would have worked critical, maybe this rook takes f3. It's just a double sacrifice on f3. b4 could have worked in black's favor. Rook takes f3 was too much. Because b4, you have a chance here. If let's say knight takes d4 here. Sorry, knight takes d4, queen takes d4, and you could rely on your connected pawns and your two rooks controlling two open files. But rook takes f3, white was able to hold. Bishop e1 was pretty good, sensing the danger on h3. All right, and now there's just that extra piece is just too much. Okay, bishop c3 ends the game. Win for white. Okay, so that was it. A good win for Lagrave. Sorry loss for Caruana. We're actually expecting Caruana to play well here in this tournament after winning the American Cup. But these days, Caruana is so inconsistent. Yeah. Okay, so congratulations to Vachier Lagrave. We still have 5 more rounds to go. It's still anybody's game. Caruana losing this one. Wesley Sol winning over Nepomniachtchi. So Wesley now is in world number 5. Climbing up to world number 5 for Wesley. And he might take over world number 4 if he wins tomorrow and if Caruana loses. So it will be an exciting round number 5. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting our channel, Charles Max Chess and Charles Max Entertainment on Facebook and YouTube. This is Coach Oliver. Stay safe, everyone.